are only hoping that when they get the license, they will take the crude and they will not necessarily refine locally. But there must be somebody that will check that particular abuse. So that if you get the crude at whatever price, you refine locally instead of going to sell abroad. So there are certain areas that a regulator who is strong and knowledgeable, very professional, should be able to do. Deregulate and let the sector function very well.
Good. Mr. Dumas, we have something to say.
A bit, differ a bit with the argument about building refineries in Nigeria. During the oil subsidy agreement, I was one of those voices who spoke in an event in the town hall meeting that was held in Lagos, and I insisted that subsidy was going to be beneficial to the economy in the long run, but government had to do the basic things that would drive the benefits that will come from that subsidy removal. And one of the things I believe we must do, first of all, is that we must build these refineries.
Sorry,
yes, the way the argument...
I beg your pardon. Do you mean subsidy or removal of subsidy? Which one?
I mean removal of the subsidy.
Thank you. Okay.
Removal of the subsidy must have to happen. But I was, saying, and I'm still saying, that before we remove it, we need to see some level of confidence. I wrote an article on economy, the economics of trust. The issue was, would we trust government to do the things they promise to do that will, give us the benefit of that removal? And the issue of refinery, I'm still arguing here that we can encourage the building of local, refineries, to replace the, subsidy that we're paying today. How can we do that? The argument here by my friends is that if you build a refinery, you can't make profit because you are forced to sell at a price. But are we not better off subsidizing manufacturing and production? Instead of subsidizing the import, we subsidize the refiners. We make it that we push the crude to them to refine. Let's say they come out with a price of 120, refining it locally here, and then want them to sell at 90. The government pays 30 naira to these refiners. It's a better subsidy than subsidizing import and foreign production. The labor is created abroad. The economic byproduct, national output, GDP growth is happening abroad, and we're here subsidizing it. But if we encourage, how do I put it now, creation of new refineries and repairing the ones that we have, and then we have more than 5 or 6 functional refineries, and we are paying them subsidy, what are we doing? The money we are paying, we are also getting it back in the economy.
But some people have been licensed to build the refineries. The question is, why are they not building the refineries?
Like we said, we
not
are
profitable.
We're always
and he has told you that they are not being, there's no profit for them.
It's a pain, pleasure thing. Once there is a pain,
sweet pain.
Yeah, once there's a painful process, people tend to want to defy it. Just like the external reserve, we've been depleting it for the past 4 years because we did not want to face the pain of actually valuing our currency where it should be. That was just done a few months ago. After we had repeatedly cried and cried, this bleeding must stop. And it stopped, and the nation has not, scattered, as it were. People felt that, once we stopped, once CBN stopped selling Forex, in the RDAS, YDAS window, that everything was scattered. Naira will sell for 340. It's a lie. And because of that fear, we have been depleting this reserve up till now when it's just, about $30 billion. And we are already at the point where if we continued, we would have had a very horrible situation in the end. So it's about pain. Are you willing to go through some certain pain? Government, to start with. Of course, the pain will have to come down to us who are Nigerians. When the subsidy is really removed, we will all feel the pain. But let government show some level of confidence that they have the willpower, the political strength to go through what it takes to encourage local refining. And of course, the fact that once you remove the subsidy, the transport system, the price effect, inflation impact will initially transmit through cost of transportation. Government promised to provide, government buses and all of that everywhere in the country to ease transportation, so that, you remember that time when it was done, people that travel for Christmas could not come back because cost of transportation doubled or tripled that period. And of course, in economics, that's the easiest, means of transmission of the, inflationary impact of that removal. We were promised buses. We haven't seen any. We were promised refineries. We haven't seen any. Instead, what we have is Shopee, where we are still, giving handouts. People's names are collected. You give them 10,000 for, in different states. Who are those people collecting this money? Who made up this list? Is that the purpose for which, we said we will build a structure before we remove the subsidy. These are arguments that we haven't even visited. Shopee, at the point for me, became a scam. And that's why I think, while I believe that President Jonathan has done a lot in terms of transforming this country to some extent, he was not firm in dealing with some principalities and powers that were holding us down in this country. So Shopee was meant to be a step that will help us remove subsidy. But has it done anything like that? Nothing. No buses, no refining, nothing. We can refine and subsidize refining. That way we are creating employment.
But before refining begins, we still have to import after the subsidies.
We will keep importing. But while in the past 3-4 years, that argument has gone on, what effort? We have been making all the effort to import, to pay subsidy, but what effort, single effort have we made in trying to generate local refining? It's a total failure.
Okay.
Mr. Adigo, can you hear us? Yes. How is it that the cost of subsidy has risen so much that we're now talking trillions? So much so that about 15% of our budget, of Nigeria's budget, goes to paying subsidy to oil importers.
I think Mr. Lawrence touched on it. The biggest issue first is a lack of a strong regulator, both in the upstream and midstream and downstream. The regulators are not well empowered to make any impact, as it were. So what you see is weak regulatory agencies operating in that space. And then again, there's a multiplicity of regulators, as it were again. Then again, the biggest issue has been that issue of corruption, willful corruption. Remember that prior to the protest in 2012, we had risen to a level where we had more than 40-something people importing products into the country. And then because of the protest and outcry, that number was reduced to about 38 or 39. I'm not sure about that. But that tells you that there was a purposefulness of allowing this to happen. And then with the bill we spent on subsidy also shrunk after there was interference by government. Then because we all kept quiet, we were seeing the products. And Nigerians are such that when things stabilize, they forget about the systemic causes. And that's the reason why we're having this discussion again. As soon as products are available, Moman does his job, Ipman does his job, Nigerians will forget about the true cause and true problems. The fact is, again, we do not do what we ought to do. The people that were implicated from the Aige Mokode report, from the Ribadu report, none of them has been punished. No case has gone